Paul, thanks a million for joining me this morning. You're fresh off the plane from Augusta, so how was it?
Yeah, I mean, it didn't have the fireworks on Sunday that we have seen in the past. I thought Matsuyama was very clinical, and he looked like he was really controlling the tournament and closing out a tournament in a clinical fashion that we've seen Tiger do so often. And then he decided to make it a bit more interesting with a second shot into 15. So in the end, he did well to get over the line. It was a bit of a bumpy finish at the end, but in general, I think not in general. I think he's a fantastic winner for the Masters. They'll be delighted to see a player from the Far East winning, and particularly a Japanese one. It's great for the tournament, great for Brandon Masters. Mightn't have had the excitement we've seen in previous Masters, and it was good to see some crowds back again and a bit of atmosphere returning. But yeah, look, the Masters is always great, as you know, Joe. It's one of the events we look to watching, certainly in Europe here, because it feels to be like the game opener for the season as the golf courses start to open after it.
So yeah, great win for Matsuyama. He was talked about quite a few years ago as a potential major winner, but I haven't really heard much mention of him in recent years. So was it a surprise?
I wouldn't say it's a surprise. It's a guy who's won two major championships in the World Golf Championships, which are the same quality field as the one that he beat last week in Augusta. He's won several times on the PGA Tour. He's a big player. He's been number 2 in the world in the past. He has gone quiet, it has to be said, the last 4 years. 4 years since he had a win. He has gone a bit quiet. But if you look at his statistics, underlying statistics, he's a brilliant golfer. Hits the ball a good way, hits it straight, brilliant iron play. That's always the strength of his game. He's a really good chipper of the ball. The putting will be the one thing that's maybe holding back over the last few years. That's normally a category that he's not very strong in. But obviously put it well last week. And yeah, found form. He didn't have a huge amount of form, hasn't had a top 10 in 2021. And I think he's only had a couple in the last 12 months. So it was a good return to form from what a time to find his game again. And as I say, win which is arguably the biggest title in men's professional golf.
I know you've mentioned to me previously that this kind of, I suppose, bubble that the players have been operating inside in COVID times, there's less distractions, less sort of, fans around looking for things and autographs, etc. So I think Matsuyama actually mentioned the fact that maybe there wasn't the same sort of media attention probably helped him. So do you think that contributed to his win?
Yeah, I think if you look at a lot of the players coming through, wins in the last 12 months. It's funny the kind of player that seems to be getting over the line during COVID times. I mean, even DJ, without the fanfare, he's not a fanfare guy, and the quiet level media interest in comparison to what it would normally like. I think certainly helped him in Augusta last year, and Morikawa winning a major championship PGA last year. Again, he talked about it when he won. He said, "God, it was amazing. It probably would have been a lot tougher if I had 40,000 people screaming and shouting with the last 4 holes to go to play under that pressure." So I think it's interesting the kind of player that's showing up, and Matsuyama with the huge media interest that he attracts. He's always got a traveling circus with him when he's in America, but a lot of those can't travel at the moment with COVID restrictions. Sure. So even his entourage was very muted compared to what it may be, and may well have been a factor.
Sure. So I want to move on to talk about your event that's coming up in Rosapenna towards the end of August, the Irish Legends event. So the European Seniors Tour have rebranded as the Legends Tour. So can you tell me a little bit about the background to that and how that has happened?
Yeah, well, quite simply, it's a rebranding. A guy called Ryan Howson, who was the main guy behind a very successful travel insurance business called Staysure. He wants to have they've enjoyed their sponsorship of what was the European Seniors Tour the last few years, and his role is minimizing a little bit within Staysure. He's going to have a bit more time, passionate about golf, loves to travel, has really enjoyed meeting the players on the Seniors Tour, and thinks that there's an idea, an opportunity to move it forward in more of a pro-am format, a little bit more like the AT&T and a little bit more like the Dunhill that we have on the main tours. Those two tournaments are hugely popular, certainly with the amateurs. And what he wants to do is take what he calls legends of the game and people that will be well known to so many people within the game, particularly major winners or Ryder Cup captains, and form them as the basis of the tour and create these alliance formats where amateurs can come and play. I think it's a great idea. I know there's been a great interest in it, and when you're a seniors tour, whether it be in America or whether it be in Europe, Joe, you got to think outside the box, because going up against all the stars of the game that we have in the main tours is very, very, very difficult. We don't have the interest. We know that. We don't have the media interest. We don't have the crowd interest. Yes, we've got a very good product and the standard is good. But in terms of it being a business and being financially sustainable, we got to think laterally a little bit. And that's what Ryan has come up with, this idea to take what are two very successful tournaments on the main tour, these alliance formats that you have in the AT&T and Dunhill, as I say, and turn it into the basis of a tour.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's a fabulous idea. So in terms of the ambassadors that are lined up, there's yourself, Ian Woosnam, Paul Lowry, Monty, I think is part of the lineup as well. Tom Lehman on the US side. I've also noticed that there's some kind of sort of high profile people from the world of kind of sport and celebrity involved as well. So what's the kind of thinking there?
Same thing. Create an affinity, great, and tick the box with the public, so they go, oh, he's playing or she's playing, or I see them watching TV, or see them in different sports, and whether it be a jockey in Ireland who are always big stars over here, or whether it be a footballer in England who are big stars over there, whatever the case may be, they want to get them integrated as well. And so you're creating a real vibe and of interest of familiar names and familiar people. And you can go on and watch them in this setting. And the third dynamic is you have the celebrities, you have the pros, and then the third dynamic is the venues. That we're not going to third or fourth rate venues. We're only going to go to venues that will be synonymous with people that they would know well. Amazing countries, amazing scenery, amazing weather, amazing golf courses, or whatever the case may be. There's always a reason to go. And that's what we're trying to do. Really increase the high level of quality venues.
Well, I'll tell you what, you've picked a superb one in Rosapenna in Donegal. It doesn't come any better than that, the old Tom Morris course there. So can you tell me just about the experience that the amateur players who will play in the event alongside you and the other stars of the game? So tell me about how that's going to work, please.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be, it's just going to be an alliance format, really. I'm bringing up to Rosapenna, which is top left-hand corner of Ireland. It's the county Donegal, where my mum and dad are both from. I grew up here. I know the place really, really well. I've been playing there as long as I've been playing golf. I think it's a hidden gem. I think the hotel we're going to, owned by the Caseys, is fantastic. Just absolutely fantastic hotel. Some of the best food you'll ever have, high quality in everything they deliver. It's always been known as a real premier place to go and have dinner if you're anywhere in Donegal, particularly the fish, amazing fish that they get right out of the ocean, right in the back door. And along with a golf course designed originally by, old Tom Morris, and there's been a few additions and changes to it over the years. I think we got the basis of what will be a really great tournament.
I think so. And the amateur players will play in the event alongside you guys for the 3 days of the tournament. So what a thrill that's going to be.
Yeah, exactly. And the whole idea of it, Joe, is to, like I say, the success of the main tours events has really propelled us down this direction. And we do think we got something special here. We got to create a dynamic that people are going to be interested in, and certainly amateurs who pay to play in these events. That's where the business plan is coming from. And, it's not a huge premium, certainly not compared to the two tournaments in the main tour. So you've got a chance to play with some of those big stars that you mentioned, by paying, a reasonable amount of money and having an unbelievable experience, and, bring along your partner and having a great week and the crack and the pubs and all of those things. So, so much of what this idea originally was from Ryan was pre-COVID. And obviously we've been put on the back foot with COVID restrictions in the last 14 months. But as we come out the other side of COVID now, we are looking forward to really hitting the ground running with this concept.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're looking forward to the tournament in Rosapenna and the third weekend in August. And thanks a million for your time, Paul.
You're welcome. No problem, Joe. You're welcome.